God is just so good. So I just finished filming the Living Surrendered series. So I've had to surrender that as well. I had a certain plan for how I wanted to do this content. Typically, he gives me the topic and I just plan out like, oh, okay, I'm going to film on this day and da-da-da-da-da. And it just didn't happen that way this time. Low-key, I started to get discouraged a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, man, I need to hurry up. He wouldn't release me to do it until I took care of something else first. God is so good. I was fighting it. And the thing about surrendering, we will try to fight it sometimes, but you're not supposed to. You're surrendering. So I had to surrender my timeline. I had to surrender my plan. I had to surrender to his will. And his will was, you need to take care of this. Until you take care of this, I'm not going to release you to do that. Some things just matter more to him. And when we are living surrendered, we have to stay in line with his will. Last night, I did what I had been stalling and putting off. I took care of it. And then today, he literally opened the door for me to do this. Right now, where I am in life, I have to live surrendered. That is the series. That is the season. Living surrendered. But it wasn't until I surrendered to his will, which at the time it didn't make sense to me. Now that I'm on the other side, it all makes sense. While you're in the process, while you're going through it, whatever it is, it could be the pruning, it could be the refining, it could be the building. Whatever you're going through, it may not make sense in the moment, but once you get to a certain level, once you reach a certain point, things will begin to make sense. Because in order to live surrendered, you have to take on the idea that if I'm going to surrender to God, I can't worry about what other people are going to say. I cannot be in people bondage if I'm going to live surrendered to God. Because oftentimes God will ask you to do something that people cannot accept, cannot understand, and thus do not agree with. For example, Jesus knew what his purpose was. He knew what he was called to do. When he shared that with his friend, Peter, not that Peter was his enemy, but Peter loved Jesus so much that he didn't want him to die. And because of that, his response was, that's not going to happen. I got your back, ride or die. And Jesus says to him, away from me, Satan. Not in a, you're no longer my friend way, but in a, you don't even understand that this is my calling. And I can't listen to that. I know what I'm supposed to do. But if you're wrapped up in people pleasing, if you are in the bondage of people pleasing, until you heal from that, you cannot fully surrender to God. And it's not until you realize that, you know what, pleasing God matters above pleasing people. Because my God, God knows everything, but also God called you to something for a reason. You can't be worried about what people think, what people say, how people feel, because they don't see the bigger picture here. They don't even have the capacity to understand what is happening. And in my obedience to God, I may have to sacrifice some things in this earth. Hope that encouraged you the way that it encouraged me. And until next time, guys, remember, it's a daily journey.